1.
Hello, Patriots. Welcome to Doug's Democracy Den. Here in the Den, we like to talk about American government, American politics, and current events. On every visit to the Den, we also like to honor the country and the flag by reciting the pledge. Please join. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Here in Doug's Democracy Den, we're going to embark on a special series regarding the U.S. Constitution. The series will be called Understanding the Constitution. This episode is called The Purpose and Structure of the U.S. Constitution. There's a lot of turmoil in the country right now concerning what the Constitution says and what it doesn't say. And that's what we're going to be addressing over the next series of episodes. There will be 5 episodes total, this one being number 1. Let's talk about the purpose of the U.S. Constitution. You've all heard of a group of people called the Founding Fathers. In 1787, they had an interesting task in front of them. They had to create a new government and a new country from scratch. They had a completely blank slate, and they had to create the type of government and country they wanted. Well, there's lots of things you can do. What did they choose to do? They choose to follow 2 basic principles. The first basic principle is that the individual is paramount. Guarding individual liberties and freedoms is most important. And second, although they were creating a government, they knew that governments were always inevitably overreaching and overbearing. And so they purposely designed the Constitution to limit government power. So think about those 2 principles. They're trying to enhance individual freedom, and they're trying to limit government power. That's what your U.S. Constitution does. Why? Because that's what the Founding Fathers designed it to do. That is how it's supposed to work. Whenever there is an overbearing on individual freedom, or there's an emphasis on government, that means the Constitution isn't being correctly followed by those in power. Trivia question. One of those Founding Fathers who helped build this structure has become known by historians as the father of the U.S. Constitution. Which one was it? Leave Google aside and find out on your own. I will give you the answer at the end of this episode. So, they're emphasizing individual liberties and freedoms, and they're trying to limit the government. That's why it can be fairly said that your U.S. Constitution is designed to protect you from your government. Let me say that again. Your U.S. Constitution is designed to protect you from your government. It is supposed to be a limit on government overreach and power. And anybody who tries to play it another way is not following the U.S. Constitution. That is the purpose of the U.S. Constitution, to protect you as an individual from overbearing government action. What about the structure of this document? When you think of federal documents, you think of pages and pages and pages of mind-numbing text. That is not the U.S. Constitution. The U.S. Constitution is a simple 5-page document. You print out, it's 5 typewritten pages. That's all. It took 5 typewritten pages for the founders to create this government. Compare that to the IRS tax code. If you stack the IRS tax code on the floor, it'd be a pile about 5 feet high. It takes 5 feet of paper to track you down and make sure you're paying taxes. It took 5 pages to create the entire government and how it should operate. The U.S. Constitution is a bare-bones document. It lays out a very basic structure, and it emphasizes individual liberties, and it puts limits on government overaction. So it's designed to protect you from your government. It is structured in a series of sections which are called articles. Articles. In this series of lectures on Understanding the Constitution, we will focus on the first 3 articles. Episode 2 will focus on Article 1. Episode 3 will focus on Article 2. Episode 4 will focus on Article 3. And the final episode will highlight a number of concepts in the Constitution which have come to be very important but aren't necessarily talked about as much. There's a series of things called the clauses, which have allowed government to stretch its power over the years, and we'll see how that has worked and if it's legal. And then there's also a process that the founders put in place because they knew future generations would need to change some things. They were fully aware of that things will have to be changed as you go forward. And they gave us a process for that. It's called the amendment process. And it has been used many times throughout our history. So in episode 5, we'll be talking about the clauses, and we'll be talking about the amendment process. That will be the 5-episode series, this being episode 1. So I hope you'll come back and follow along with those episodes. The answer to the trivia question. When the founders got together to create the U.S. Constitution, one of them was definitely a leader in shaping the document and what we have today. The father of the U.S. Constitution is James Madison. Thank you for visiting the Den. See you next time.